Hi everybody. Today I want to talk about sea salt versus aquarium salt versus table salt. I get a lot of questions about these different types of salts, and today we are going to talk about them and what the differences are. Mainly, however, we are going to be talking about sea salt. I got a question about this the other day, and it was a good question because it was one that baffled me for quite a while too, until I found out the parts of the process that they don't often tell you about. So the question is sea salt the same as aquarium salt? And the answer is yes, it is. Absolutely, 100%. If you buy a product that is called sea salt and it is meant to be sprinkled on your food, that is basically 100% sodium chloride. It's 99.5% sodium chloride. Table salt that you get that has been mined out of the ground is 98.9 or 99.1 or something like that. It is just about the same amount of purity, slightly less pure than sea salt. But the question is, how is that possible? Because there are so many different dissolved mineral salts in ocean water. And when you look at how they arrive at this, they always say, oh, we take this Mediterranean seawater and we evaporate it away. And hey, magic, magic, you've got this pure sodium chloride left over. They're always leaving out a step that makes it all make sense. And that step is when they wash the salt, because when you take seawater and you evaporate it away in big open ponds, birds are going to crap in it, you're going to have seaweed in it. It's not clean, fresh, pure water with some salt in it. It's ocean water, and try as they may, strain it as they may, they still need to clean that salt when they're done. And what they clean it with is brine. And brine solution, or brine, is water that is saturated with sodium chloride. It cannot hold any more sodium chloride in the water. It can, however, hold magnesium chloride or potassium chloride or whatever else is in seawater that can dissolve into the brine. The sodium chloride cannot. The brine is saturated already, cannot hold anymore. So they wash it with brine, and that not only rinses it physically clean, but it also dissolves away all of the mineral salts that are not sodium chloride. And what they're left with is now virtually pure sodium chloride. The source of that sodium chloride was seawater, but at the end of the process, it's simply sodium chloride. It's no different than the table salt you buy that was mined out of the ground. Again, there's a slight difference in purity, but it's a negligible amount. It doesn't really matter. So those are the two types of salts that we think of here in the home, that we put on our table, that we use in our food. Now, aquarium salt is the exact same thing. It's sodium chloride, but it's packaged in a box that says aquarium salt on it, and now they charge you a whole lot more money for the exact same product. It's sodium chloride. It's the same stuff. You don't need to spend a lot of money on the aquarium salt, and honestly, you don't even need to spend a lot of money on the sea salt, because even this generic Walmart brand sea salt costs more than just plain old mined mineral salts. And again, it's all basically the same. The only time you get into a different type of salts in the aquarium hobby would be marine salt. I have a bucket in the other room. It's called Instant Ocean, and that is indeed all of the blend of different minerals that go up to make ocean water. So you mix that together, and then you can do your reef tank or your saltwater tank. I used to use it when Butterbean's tank was a brackish tank. That's what I used it for. It's nasty tasting. I've tasted it just to find out, and it tastes exactly like a mouthful of ocean water, which again, is not pleasant. If you've ever been to the ocean, you know what I'm talking about. If you've not ever been to the ocean, then you have no idea how bad ocean water actually tastes when it gets in your mouth. It's not just salt water that you might gargle with if you have a sore throat or something like that. Ocean water has a whole lot more going on in it than that. And yet, during that process, when they evaporate that water away, they also wash all those other salts away, leaving behind sodium chloride, and that's why it doesn't taste like the ocean when you sprinkle that stuff on your food. So it's all basically the same. The only thing you would have to think about at this point is when you get into the caking or the anti-caking agents that they put in salt, or some salt is iodized. It does have iodide, not iodine. Something very similar though, but it's iodide is what is in iodized salt. I get asked about whether that's a problem. My answer to that is always, it's easy enough to avoid it, so go ahead and avoid it. When you're buying your salt, you can simply purchase non-iodized salt. It's readily available, so it's not an issue. If for some reason you are in a situation where you absolutely have to have some salt in your aquarium and all you can find is iodized salt, you can use it. It's safe to use. The amount of iodide in there is so minimal, and the amount of salt you're putting in your aquarium is so small that it makes no difference whatsoever. That a tiny amount of iodide is nothing. If you were to put enough salt in there where the iodide was beginning to be an issue or toxic to your fish, you would have pickled them in salt brine water long ago, long before that iodide ever becomes a dangerous amount. And the same goes with the anti-caking agents. Those are things you just don't need to worry about. Again, having said that, it's easy to avoid the iodide. Almost all salt's going to have the anti-caking agent in it, but iodide is very easy to avoid. Just get the non-iodized salt and you're good to go. So don't waste your money on the fancy aquarium salt, and you also don't have to waste your money on the fancy sea salt. You can just get regular old table salt that was mined out of the ground, and it's going to be as close to pure sodium chloride as makes no difference. So just go ahead and do that. But sea salt, this type of sea salt that we put on our food, is also sodium chloride. They wash all that other stuff out of there. So hopefully I have cleared that up for you. Make sure you're subscribed if you enjoyed that video. Hit that like button, all that good YouTube stuff. So thanks for watching, and I will see you real soon in the next one.